It's your girl, K to the A to the Camille.
Yeah, my name is Dre, also known as 6'8" Dre, Wavy McGrady.
Welcome to Love Playz. Oh my God. It's K to the A to the Camille, and I am here with a very special person today. This is someone I've known since I was a toddler, and
And
no, I just if you was going to interrupt me because I have not known that man since I was a
nah,
toddler.
look,
And
this,
he
this podcast stuff be for entertainment, so people be creating whatever narratives they want. So I was gonna
You was
let you
gonna
rock
go with the narrative. That is
that.
so crazy.
Right.
But I've known him since I was in high school. And I'm just so glad because I have a special announcement today. Ray is officially, well, actually, he already officially joined the Love Plays podcast. So congratulations. Welcome aboard. I'm so
Thank you.
happy to have you here.
No, thanks. I'm definitely, excited to see what this turns into. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of stuff done, and everybody gonna be excited. So let's do it.
I agree. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, like introduce yourself.
So relatively new in the content creating space, but I've been around it for a while. Just wide range of just multiple areas of the culture. Whether it was just being deep involved in fashion. Um, I have a lot of friends that make music, so not only being a connoisseur of music itself from the mainstream and underground artists, but having being a part of a lot of like jam sessions, even studio sessions. I kind of even being the inspiration in the writing process for some people. I felt like it was only a matter of time before I transitioned into this space and bring my talents over here.
I agree. And then he also like I would say gives really good advice relationship wise. So like I think you're the perfect fit because like not only do you know your music or you know how to be in that kind of space, but you can also be in the space of relationships. And as a guy, a lot of women like are always bashing men about like, ooh, I don't have to listen to a man about what he has to say about this, that, and the other when it comes down to relationships. But I would say I trust him when it comes down to that type of stuff. And I feel like as a woman, we do need to sometimes hear that perspective. So I feel like you're going to bring a lot of great things to the table.
Yeah, and I think I appreciate the compliment first. And you've gotten a lot better with receiving that advice that you spoke on. So I got to give you flowers on that too. But just overall, to just kind of build off what you said, I just try to be as objective as possible. Um, Whenever somebody comes to me for advice or anything, I try to just get them to unfiltered, just what they need to hear versus, if they're my friend trying to be biased towards their side and, not call out where they may have made mistakes and stuff. So I feel like a lot of people nowadays are like yes men or, whoever big bro is, whoever putting them on or putting money in their pocket, they going to like dick eat and stuff. So,
Yeah,
I feel like we need more people to just tell the real and not what people want to hear.
I agree. So let's go ahead and tell everybody what today's topic is.
Okay.
Drum roll, please.
I'll say I don't got the effect, but I got a manual. I got a manual one for you.
Okay, so we are the song that we picked for this week is Prove It by 21 Savage and Summer Walker. And do you like the track? I like the track.
No, it's actually one of my favorite songs off the project. I normally, of course, listen to a lot of 21. Summer is actually one of the R&B artists that, music wise, I think is great. She does a lot of stuff outside the booth I don't agree with, but you know, in that booth, like honestly, not really many from this generation are fucking with her, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like she's very talented. So it's one of the better songs on the project.
I agree. And I'm big on like he has like a cool sample in there. A lot of people complain about samples, but honestly, like as long as you can flow to the beat, I think it's cool
Mhm.
for real. So let's just get right into it. I
Yeah.
am going to ask you what do I want to ask you first? Do you feel like love has to be proven? Because it's called Prove It. So I feel like it's a lot of references that him and Summer Walker have to like proving that
Mhm.
you're in love.
That's actually a good question to start with. But I do to answer it, yes. I think love has to be proven over time with consistency. Um, because you can genuinely love somebody and possibly not show it all the time, but love is also about perception sometimes. And you can know internally that you love somebody, but if you don't show them that, then they'll probably never believe it or trust it. So I do believe you got to prove it and show it for it to be effective.
I agree, but then I also feel like it uh I feel like it might be levels to it, like
Mhm.
with how you prove it. I say that because I had a situation that I was in before, like previously, where I felt like all I was doing all the time was proving myself. And I feel like it was because a lack of trust
Mhm.
and because of like their own issues and insecurities and stuff like that. So I felt like low key, no matter how much I was trying to prove my love, that if they didn't like feel that, then it wasn't going to like
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other side of that coin. So, you got the situations where you prove it and then it works out like they like, okay, this person is showing me. But then you got the people that don't love themselves fully. And so when you don't love yourself fully, you can't even receive or believe other love that you may receive because you don't really love yourself, or you spoke on those insecurities. Maybe that's something that person may just have to work on, because that's going to be an ongoing problem for them going forward in their next relationships. Is they're never going to believe people truly love them until they truly love themselves.
I agree. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, that was a good question to get us started. So I guess one of my questions that kind of aligns with yours that you started with is, do you think that, like, in terms of, this is more with women, but I assume men maybe struggle with this too. Do you think, like, in a relationship, your appearance or your significant other's appearance, their opinion of it matters more than your own? Like, for example, like you see the makeup topic often, but sometimes you see it nowadays more with like even surgeries and stuff. um does your partner telling you you're beautiful and you not feeling beautiful, what side do you feel like people listen to more, like what the outside people tell you or what you truly believe about yourself?
I think for me personally, it has to be what I believe myself.
Mhm.
Like, to your point, even when you were just talking about when we were talking about the other coin about love and proving it, like if someone doesn't believe like in themselves or doesn't love themselves to a certain extent, then that kind of falls into every other aspect of their life. So for me personally, I have to feel like I love how I look. Like it would be great to hear it from a significant other, but like that doesn't define me. And like people will try. Like I've always been big on I don't want to be controlled. I don't want somebody telling me how I should dress, how I should look. And there's another point to that because I think it's cool like sometimes when girls like they let their boyfriends style them like or like
Mhm.
a challenge or something. I think that's dope. I think that's cool. But I've known women in my life who like they were like, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend doesn't like me with short hair." But I really wanted to cut my hair off, but now I can't cut my hair off because he doesn't like that. Or I can't wear this outfit because it might show too much and he doesn't want me to show too much. And I get that. Like you have to be respectful
Now,
in a
now you
relationship.
cross. I'll say you crossing a line there. Like 'cause that's more respect than like how I feel you look beautiful in something.
But
Like,
like some of
like
this
that's
stuff,
so a better example is like this, right? Like we're talking about like just things how they view themselves, like more of a
okay.
like self esteem thing. So the hair one was a good example, like when you were saying cutting to the short. But as a woman, there's ways around that. Like you can try short wigs and other stuff before you cut the real hair off. Whereas like as a man, if I want to see how I look like with waves while I got locks, like I type gotta cut the locks off. So it's like, you
Yeah,
know, it's a lot little less risk for y'all. But I was more talking about like, let's say for example, if a woman is uncomfortable with her body, for example, her husband even can be like, no, you're perfectly fine the way you are. I love you the way God made you, etc. She'll still go get on that table and go get that the lipo and all of that shit. And then like God forbid she has health complications from that, dies, or like, any of that stuff. Now, essentially, self-esteem or lack of love for yourself could be the demise of your relationship with somebody that really loves you for you, how you work.
I agree. I agree. So yeah, I know I was kind of getting a little bit off topic, but I will say it just goes back to what I originally said. You have to feel that way about yourself. Because if you are sitting here listening to somebody say, you're so beautiful, your body is fine, but you feel insecure about your body, then you're going to do whatever to make yourself feel secure. And that sucks because that has caused women to die on the table. Or it sucks because there are a lot of people who love you how you are. But me personally, I would have to like feel confident in myself. If I don't feel confident in myself, then I'm really going to be kind of negative, like in a relationship. I'm not really going to be like, I'm not going to believe you. It's going to be like, oh, you're telling me I look beautiful. You're just saying that. Or you're just trying to smash. Or like, and that's crazy, but that's what women think sometimes. Like, oh, you're just saying that. Like, you don't actually believe that.
Yeah,
And that's a problem. So you have to actually believe that for yourself.
nah, that's right. I think like you said, it kind of goes hand in hand with that first one of you just truly believing it genuinely in your own soul more than anybody can tell you.
I agree. Um,
Are we 2 for 2 so far? Like, well, no, we're 1 for 2 because you kind of said that you didn't feel like it should always have to be proven, and I was like, I think it always does. So we kind of had a little discourse on that one, but I feel like the second question we
yeah.
were a little bit more on the same
I
page.
feel like we was on the same page for the second question. Now for this one, um, 21 Savage said he said something about like he don't really care about the ex thing, like he don't
Mhm.
care about her past or whatever. Is that a factor? Like, is it a problem to be cool with your exes? Like,
Um, I don't think it is in theory. Um, I think it just depends on the like it's other factors though. Like it's I guess how recent of an ex sometimes plays a factor. Uh possibly some of the emotional things you've been through with that ex. Because like say for example, right? Me as a man, I'm cool with people being cool with whoever they want to be cool with.
mhm,
But it's as long as that person isn't disrespectful to our relationship or hasn't disrespected you to a certain point that I don't respect. Like if you told me your ex like used to beat your ass and shit like that, me being a person that does not really condone or understand that
mhm,
or like and haven't done that myself to a woman, I'm gonna have trouble understanding what you still want to be cool with him for. But
yeah,
if it's like somebody where it just didn't work out and y'all had a healthy, at least friendship, as long as he not still trying to like fuck with you while I'm fucking with you, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a human being. If you got male friends, what's the difference between him? Like, you get what I'm saying? As long as y'all ain't
that's
crossing those lines.
that's how I feel. But I was talking to one of my homeboys the other day, and really, it wasn't about this song or anything. He just randomly, I don't really know how it came up. He just kind of said to me and my roommate, he was just like, "Yeah." I think that like I can't trust a woman who's cool with their ex or who's cool with the guy that likes her. And I said, what if she doesn't like him at all? Like, or what if that's the ex that like they just knew that they could only be friends, like just didn't work. Like
Yeah.
you said, it wasn't something where they still like each other or anything like that. And he was like, no, I just don't trust it. And I was like, I feel like in certain cases, like I think it's different ways around that. Like,
Now, one thing I'll say that your man's touched on is I do feel like in I feel like it's only probably about 10% of relationships where both people mutually was like, yo, this not working. And they're
mm,
both content with being cool and nobody wants to flirt or do anything. But I think the rest of them, somebody left somebody for something. So even if it's not him, it could be you that still got feelings for this nigga. And that's why you're trying to keep him in your life. You get what I'm saying? So as your partner, I mean, it just depends on what they've been through. And, they probably had situations where the girl told him that the nigga was just a best friend, but he was really, you feel me? So I think people's like what they've been through is gonna kind of determine their patience with that. If you've never had a situation where your person played with you with an ex before, you're probably gonna be a lot more open to it than somebody who had multiple exes cheat on them with an ex or like a baby mom or something like that.
yeah,
They, yeah, so it's all relative.
yeah, I agree.
Um, so I guess I got another good question to kind of build off of yours. But was you finished necessarily on like your take on it?
Yeah,
Um, so I guess we can kind of relate that to like catering to your partner emotionally, like in their boundaries and stuff for like, who you possibly have relationships with and stuff like that. So as a woman, we hear about, stability in relationships a lot. And I want to know like from a woman's perspective, and you can rank this, what do you feel like is most important in terms of security? Emotional, um, just financial or physical security from your partner, and why is it in whatever order you're going to put it in?
okay, that's a tough one. I say that's a tough one because like um from my perspective, like
Mhm,
I know how important emotional security is simply because I deal with anxiety. So like that's
mhm.
like super important. Like that reassurance is very important in any type of relationship that I have. And that's why sometimes I might want to rank that at the top as number one, right? But physical security, that's more so, is physical security like protection?
Yeah, it can be, or like not even necessarily that you've seen them do it, but you just feel like when you're with them in their presence. So, it could be like you and your husband, like, he's like a nigga that work out heavy. He probably do mixed martial arts and he got guns in the house. You're
Mhm.
going to feel pretty safe, like
Yeah,
living with
because
him.
that's what I was going to say. Like feeling
So,
safe is super
and when you go
important.
out, like you don't like if you go out to like some super hood shit, maybe you're not gonna be like, yo, like I feel like hella people here could beat my boyfriend up, like if something go left, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. So that's what I meant more about like, do you feel like safe and secure physically around them?
I'll say like this is how I'm gonna do it. In general, I feel like it should be number one should be physical, number two should be emotional, and then the last one should be financial. Because I say that because like feeling safe or knowing you're safe no matter where you go is super important. That emotional support if you're going through stuff, because you don't want to be with somebody that like doesn't emotionally understand you or that you don't emotionally understand. Like I think that speaks volumes to like love languages. Like if y'all don't understand each other on that level, then how does that work? And then financially, the reason why I rank that last is simply because like I know what they say about a man being a provider, and I think that's super important. But I also was raised to always have my own too. So for me to be financially secure too. So I know that it's important for a man to be able to provide, but it's also important for me to be able to take care of myself if I'm not with the man. too. But we're talking about if you're in a relationship. So I just feel like because you come into that relationship as an individual, then that's something that you should individually have together. But for me personally, I would switch it and I would have emotional as first. And that's because of what I personally deal
Gotcha. Yeah, I felt like, that question was more for the women because, I mean, there are some dudes that kind of depend on their woman financially, but most of it is going to be like just emotional for us. Like, how does she make you feel? And like, we obviously value women that come to the relationship with their own individual portfolio built up. Like, they may be successful in their own right. You don't really want like somebody that you're going to have to always like
with. Take
take
care
care
of.
of. um, but if you have it, you don't mind taking care of them because you love them. So, but you don't want to be in a situation where like you have like a gold digger or like somebody that's
Right.
not able to do it if you needed them to. So,
So I feel like that segues into my next question. Like,
mhm.
because you mentioned like how a woman would make a man feel. So like is do men view like their partners or like women as a safe space? And I'm asking that because I I've known a lot of men to say that they can't get their emotions out.
Mhm.
And I just wonder if you're in a relationship, do you feel like that should be your safe space?
So I feel like in theory, yes, it should be, but is it for men? 99% of the chance, no. Not to say women in general, but like the more emotionally supportive women in your life as a man are like your family members and like honestly your platonic like homegirls. Your partner 9 times out of 10 doesn't give you the platform or freedom to express yourself as a man, even whether it's just how you feel emotionally or maybe a criticism that you may have that you want to voice to improve the relationships. We're normally met with a lot of confrontation and a lot of like slanderous things when we try to be emotional and vulnerable with y'all. So, I can tell my girl how I feel about something, and I'll be sassy even, or like I'm being soft, like, you get what I'm saying, like you don't feel comfortable crying around your shorty, like none of that stuff, because like at the end of the day it's like they make us, especially black men, make us feel less than for kind of wearing our heart on our sleeve or being emotional in any way, just showing that you're not a robot and like any of that stuff. Like we normally have the burden of catering to y'all emotions and providing that for y'all, but when it's time for the other side, in my previous relationships, I don't really feel like I had the support emotionally that I would have liked or needed in various points of my life. So to answer your question, no, I don't think we have the safe space from our partners, but from women in general, yes, from friends and family, they're normally a
So
lot more nice
do you
about it.
think in theory that like our culture could change in that aspect, like in the future?
Yes, I think we're seeing that now. Like, I think the era we're in is starting to become more accepting of just mental health and emotional stability and stuff. So you're starting to even see it from a childhood level, like me growing up. If I like fell or was sad about something, like you as a black boy, you get to suck that shit up, like you'll be all right. Now we're starting to see a generation where it's like people are actually sitting and talking to young men, or trying to at least, and giving them the freedom to express themselves and not necessarily have that stigma of being weak attached to it anymore. So it's a progress. It's a work in progress, but I think we are getting closer to that than we ever were in the past.
Okay. I really love that answer. That was cool.
Thank you. So now, what is your opinion though? Like, do you feel like as a woman, like giving the men in your life that platform, and do you feel like how I touched on, do you feel like you expect more strength necessarily, or like for them to be tougher if they're your man versus your homeboy? Like if your homeboy cry on your shoulder versus your boyfriend, Do you view one as weaker than the other, or is it just two men being emotional and crying to you?
I I really would love for men to open up and be emotional. I feel like I do get that from like my friends. Sometimes like they feel comfortable, but like in relationships, what I've experienced is that I can tell that like something is going on, and when I try to talk about it, they're being very tough. And it's like, hey, like it's okay for you to express yourself. Like it's okay for you to voice this or say that. And they're like, no, like I've even had a guy say to me before, I know I need therapy, but like I just don't want to do it right
Yeah, that
now.
was me for a while. Like for a while, like I wouldn't even consider it. Like now I know that it's real important and everybody should go. Like even when you're not in a bad space,
Yeah,
you can go to continuously work. Kind of like the gym almost like you don't have to be out of shape to go to the gym. You can go there while you're in shape to stay in shape.
yeah.
So kind of like mental health, if you're feeling good right now, there's no need to stop going to therapy. You gotta keep going so you stay good. So
There were like I went to therapy for a specific reason, and then at some point I was like, I'm past that, but I feel like for my own personal growth, if I would have stopped after that, then like I'm not saying my life would have went downhill, but it just would have been good. It's good that I'm continuing it. But for like what you asked me, I would say that like one, a guy has said that to me before. And then I had a conversation with a mentor that's a guy, and he told me that like, a lot of men have a lot of trauma, but like you just said, growing up, they were taught to be tough, so they feel like they can't do that. And I feel like that's not fair. So
mhm.
I try to make it a space, but I know I'm not perfect, and I know it's been times where if, my emotions are out of whack, then but it's what me and you talk about all the time. You can't feel we will not feel the cut. You can say it. You can say you're saying about the shot if you wanna say it.
About the shot.
Yeah,
What you
about you can't, you can't pour the shot if you don't have anything in your bottle.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can't pour somebody else's shot if you don't got none, no liquor in your bottle. So
Yeah,
that's just the more lit way to say you can't pour if your glass is empty. So
yeah.
yeah,
So that happens to me sometimes. Like that's the downfall. I would say like, there have been times where I feel like arguments could have been avoided when somebody wanted to express themselves, and it's simply because I had too much going on. Or like uh some people just feel insecure about expressing themselves. Like they feel like they're a burden if they do that. That's the other thing I've realized. Even with men, I've realized that.
me.
You feel that way?
Even with my homeboys, like it's not even always a male female thing. Like a lot of times my bros will check on me and I'll be like, nah, I'm good. It ain't because I don't trust them to tell them what I'm going through. I just don't like inconveniencing people or, kind of making people go out their way to do anything for me. I'd rather try to figure it out myself. And, shit hit the fan, I'll lean on somebody, but I'm gonna try to avoid that at all costs.
And I'd be like, "Oh, I know something." Like if I'm in a relationship, like I know there's something wrong with you. Your behavior is changing, and part of me, like, and you know this personally, part of me doing that is because like it's so crazy that you can find something positive in something you deal with mentally, like, but it's also good. So for anxiety, a lot of people research says that like if they have anxiety, that sometimes they pay attention more to people's behaviors and their patterns. So I will notice that something is off because I'm paying so much attention to this person, especially if I'm with them. Like I'm like, okay, like normally this is how we have like, and everybody's not going to be the same every day, but like normally this is how we talk, and I'm noticing that you sound like your tone and your voice sounds like something's wrong, and I'm concerned about you, and I want to like ask you. Hold up, it's hitting me with the 10 minutes. You know how Zoom is.
I seen
Have
it too. I seen it too.
I'm not going to lie. Have you ever like do you know anybody who's ever hit upgrade?
Nah.
Cuz I haven't. Like it just
Uh,
seems like it's fake to me. I'm not trying to be funny, but it seems like it's a little fake to me. But what I was gonna say is that, especially if I'm in a relationship with somebody, like I'm talking to them, I'm so used to like talking to them every day. I'm gonna pay attention to them, especially if I want to be with them because I want to be that person. I want to be that safe space for them. So it's like I want to leave room for you to feel comfortable, but I also had to realize I can't force anybody to feel that way. Like if you don't want to talk about it, I'm not going to make you talk about it. But I am going to like pray for you. I'm going to wish you well. I'm going to try to send you that positive energy, but that's pretty much it when it comes to
okay. I definitely think like that was one of the subjects that probably people are gonna need to hear the most. Just you can never have too much of that. And we hope that everybody just gives it the people in their life the platform to express themselves and make the world a better place for real.
I agree. So I want to ask you, what is your favorite part of the song?
Um, Honestly, I would say I think so let me go to my least favorite part because
Okay.
that's actually one of the questions I have too. So favorite part I believe is just honestly like the way Summer, well, the sample like you said, and then honestly the hook, honestly, like because the verses were great, like they fit the song perfectly, but um, I think like Summer. I don't want to say she carried the song, but kind of like that's the part that people love the most about the song is like, or like what you hear replayed and like reels and shit. So just that, like, just the melody of it, like how it sounds, like from a sonic standpoint, is great. But the part that I didn't like is in 21's verse. Right, he was doing a lot of dirty macking,
Oh
and
man.
look, I know that like naturally as a man, certain things you can do can teeter that line of what would be considered dirty macking. But he was like specifically dirty macking. Like he said that the nigga was soft, and like I guess he was trying to play with his paper, talking about I told you he was a little boy, like all that. So it's like, what is as a woman, right? First, I want to hear your favorite part of the song, but I also want to hear your take on like, have you experienced another man trying to dirty mac another man to get you, and what's your opinion on that as a woman?
Okay, so to answer your first question, my favorite part is Summer's part because she took that like literally because that is a sample in itself. Like I guess she created her own sample saying like using those lyrics, if only you knew how much I do love you. Like that song, that's a classic. So
Mm-hmm.
like hearing her sing it and add her own spin on it, I love it. So yeah, that's my favorite part. But my least favorite part of the song is um my least favorite part of the song is when he start it's something 21 says like oh no, sorry, I don't have a least favorite part of the song. I was just about to say another favorite part of my song is when he says I want to cuddle for weeks, because I feel like men aren't vulnerable about that. Like y'all be liking to cuddle, like, and I feel like men
I ain't
we
gonna
admit
cat. I'm a
that.
cuddler. Like
Yeah.
I like it. So
Yeah, so like that's I like that part, but Dirty Mackin, I couldn't think of it before, but I will say I had a crazy situation with like people who knew each other, and I feel like part of it got a little messy because of Dirty Mackin, and or
normally does.
saying
It
that
normally does.
this person said this, or this person said that you said that they a liar. Like it was just so many crazy, outrageous things that
Mhm.
were being said,
You can
and
do
it
it all.
was just so
I'm
that I
telling
would
you.
sway one way or the other way. And I
Mhm.
just think that it's crazy. but I wasn't in a relationship with either one of them. But if I was like in a relationship, I would view Dirty Mackin for real, like as crazy because I feel like you know how girls be like, my man, my man, my man. If that's my man, my man, my man, my man, then you talking about he's soft. That's a problem. Like, don't talk about my man like that.
But like,
Now, if I
but
break
you
up
know
with
if
him,
your nigga, you know if your nigga is really soft though.
but if I
So
break up, I was
if
gonna
you
say if I break
believe
up
that,
with him and he made me mad and he really was soft, I'ma laugh about it later with you and say like, remember when you said that nigga was soft? Like, I'ma
yeah.
laugh about it
But
later.
that's
But
but that's what the Dirty Mac wants. Like they
I
not when they
know,
say that, they not necessarily saying it for you to walk away from your nigga right then and there. But they're planting that seed for you to think that about him to eventually leave him and come fuck with them. So it's like you ain't gonna hear, oh my nigga soft. Let me text him and break up with him right now. But because you heard another man say that, any
you
moment
gonna start
after that,
thinking it plants
any
the
moment
seed.
after that that he does anything soft, you gonna be like in the back of your mind, like, damn, that's what that nigga was talking about. He is soft. And it's
What
gonna be in your subconscious, like, yo,
One
my
of
nigga
my
really
homegirls
soft.
messed me up with that. She told me
Mhm,
one time this guy was soft. She kept saying it, right? And I'd be
mhm,
like, he's not soft. But then, like, he would do certain things. I'd be like, damn, that's what she said, though. Like,
mhm. So
that's,
now you like overthinking this shit and you like, damn, maybe I
yeah,
really should stop on this nigga and go fuck with the other nigga. Now, there's nothing wrong with taking somebody shorty, but how you go about it, you supposed to sell yourself
yeah,
more than talk bad about him. Like instead of saying what her nigga doesn't do, tell her what you will do for her and she just leave on her own and be
yeah,
like, you just a more juiced up nigga, so she choose you on her own than like me saying, oh yeah, your nigga fucked up, he don't got no money. Yeah, I used to go to school with that nigga. He was a straight bitch back in the day. Like, oh, you fuck with him? Yeah, that nigga be fucking with hella bitches. But hey, I
yeah,
mean, what you like you feel me? Those type of things, like that's bitch shit. Like as a man, like if I see another man doing that or my homeboy doing that, I'm gonna let him know that's bitch shit.
I
Like there's
agree.
nothing about
So,
it.
Dre had came up with a really cool idea for a segment that we're gonna start doing. I'm
Mhm.
gonna let you say it real quick. What are we doing now?
So, now that we closing up the last few minutes, what we're gonna be able to do, it may be at the start sometimes, it may be in the middle, maybe at the end. But I would like to really incorporate love plays or love plays of the day. Considering, the namesake of the podcast and us, being music lovers, I think that what we can do for the fans or the listeners, supporters, whichever group you want to throw yourself in. I know fan can be derogatory a little bit. Um, just bless them with some music, every episode. What we've been listening to, it could be a new release, it could be some underground shit we trying to put them on to, but just whatever like spoke to you that week or that day, just go ahead and share that shit with the people. So um, I didn't send you my song prior to the podcast, but I'll go ahead and say it now.
Okay.
You probably heard it everywhere, especially if you watch sports, because it actually got picked up for an Apple commercial. One of the artists or rappers that I like the most recently, or like one of them that's up there, is Doughboy. He does a lot of songs with Future and or that's how he got famous. So
Hmm.
it's mostly trap shit, of course. But he made a song that was kind of like similar to a love song. Like, of course, it's auto tune heavy and shit, but it was out the box for him, and it actually was an amazing song. And the fact that that shit got picked up by Apple to be an underground trap rapper, like, lets me know how good of a song it is. But the song is called "Way Too Long," and they used it like to kind of play on the battery life of the iPhone. Like it was the outlet singing, like that they missed the charger. Like it's been too long since I seen you last, because the battery's supposed to be
Hmm.
like supposed to be long in the commercial, I guess.
Okay.
But the song is really good. So those out there, if you haven't heard it or seen the commercial, go ahead and give it a listen. It's really
Okay.
good.
So I haven't heard it, so I'm definitely going to listen to it. But mine is Self Love by Queen Naja because I feel like what we've been saying this whole time is you gotta love yourself, you gotta be secure in yourself, and that's what that song is all about. So we've started a playlist. It's going to be on SoundCloud so everybody can have access to it. Of course, Prove It is going to be on there. Way Too Long is going to be on there, and so is Self Love. So each week we're going to add us two songs or three songs depending on the topic, and y'all can, send suggestions or whatever you want to do. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in with us today. Please make sure you follow Love Play Show on Instagram. You can DM us, you can email us, like send us your titles and song requests and requests for the show. If you guys have any questions for us, make sure you follow Dre at.
Yeah, you can find me on IG, Twitter, under 6H underscore Dre. And I'm not really on anything else yet, but I will be. So I'll get you updated on that.
You can follow me at KAMEL_LAURYN. And we just have so many great things coming for y'all this season. Like, I can't even tell y'all the exclusive stuff that we're going to do, you know. But it was great having you as the official co host. And like, he's dope. So follow him. He's about to have a lot of stuff that y'all are going to be into on his page. So I definitely think you should follow him.
I appreciate that. And, I'm looking forward to, like you said, what this year got in store. We got a lot of stuff coming for y'all. And shit, niggas gotta come to the A, man. We gotta get this the first episode, in the same room. So
Yep.
hopefully we're gonna get that for y'all soon. And
And
um
oh, also, I always like to like say like one positive thing for the we're gonna make sure that we bring you guys more episodes, by the way. So it's not gonna be too long before you see the next episode. But I just want to leave it off with just something positive that you want to say to people.
yeah, my closing remarks for this week, I guess, would be, just stay humble and stay prayed up. Those are the keys that will get you through a lot of this stuff that life gonna throw at you.
And mine is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself because it's important to be a whole person so that you can be who you are to other people. All right.
Until next time.